Citizens Conversation. Ian Dale. Tweet at LBC.
It's 22 minutes past 8 on LBC. I wonder whether the free school meals in summer holidays is something that actually the government are going to find very difficult to roll back on. They have said it's just for this year. And you can understand why, because the level of public expenditure that is being spent at the moment, it's just unsustainable in the long term. Now, in the wider scheme of things, you think, well, 120 million out of a normal annual spend of about 800 billion, it doesn't sound an awful lot, does it? But all of these little things do add up to an awful lot of money, and somebody at some point is going to have to make some very tough decisions. And so far, Rishi Sunak, in his period as Chancellor, has been basically throwing us all smarties, hasn't he? I mean, he actually hasn't had to make, well, he has had to make difficult decisions, but it's all been about throwing money at a problem. And traditionally, you think, well, that is no way to solve the problem. I think he's done absolutely the right thing in the coronavirus crisis. I don't think he had any alternative. But a lot of the schemes that he's done, they are actually more generous than a lot of other countries. But he can't be Father Christmas to everybody forever, can he? 0345 6060 973. We're talking free school meals. Let's go to Dean, who's a new caller in Bury in Manchester. Hello, Dean.
Hi, thanks for having me on. I'm a chairperson of a community centre and charity based in Bury, and we mainly provide youth services, and as part of that, kind of over summer, we provide free breakfast for children on local housing estate. I actually grew up on there for 28 years myself before moving off and getting my own house and so on. But what I kind of wanted to say is this isn't a new thing. You know, children going without food is not a new thing. This is a thing that's been going on for quite some time, and you know, we're just one of many charities that have been providing this service. I'm glad. I'm obviously really happy that this is, you know, that Marcus Rashford has done what he's done. But you know, I think what we need to understand is this isn't a new thing. This has been going on for quite some time, and people need to kind of realise that. You know, marginalised societies, like kind of micro societies like the housing estate that we help on, these are in the top 5% of kind of every bracket you can think of, you know, crime, disability, you know, what would be deemed as unskilled work, etc., etc. You know, and these housing estates need help like this, and it's pivotal to kind of outcomes for children in the future. You know, I think we need to look at, you know, having a bit of compassion about giving people the best start in life, and a breakfast over summer holidays or meals over summer holidays is not something that we should be kind of debating. I think it should be given in terms of... It's
not an added extra, is it?
No, it's not an added extra. It's a human right, and you know, I think if people are genuinely struggling, which you know, we help people who are genuinely struggling on the you know, the edge of society in terms of money. I think that, you know, we need to give them that helping hand. I was that kid when I was growing up. I was a single parent family, my mum, just me and my mum. We struggled to make ends meet. It was really tough growing up. Luckily, I had a really good mum who, yes, she was on benefits, and she worked full time at the same time as that, but she gave me the best start in life she could. And you know, now I give back into that, and I try my hardest with that. But that's the key thing. It's about giving children like that the best start in life we possibly can. And I think the humanitarian side of us needs to kind of realise that a little bit. And this shouldn't be a debate. I mean, we're talking about 120 million, I think is the number that's being bounded about. You got to think, so my local council, Bury Council, has had near 100 million cut over the last 5 years. Now, that's just one council that's had that amount of money cut. Now, I'm not an economics expert. I'm not going to say, you know, and I profess to know everything, but surely if you've made that many cuts just to one council over 5 years, if you think about the country as a whole, surely there's going to be a bit of money somewhere for this.
Somebody's just texted to say all this starvation business started in 2010, which is obviously complete rubbish because we've had starving children in this country ever since time immemorial. If people, I'm not excusing the levels of child poverty at the moment, but you go back to the 40s and 50s and 60s, and I mean, we don't know how well off we are as a society today. But it is all about priorities. You're right that governments, councils, they all have a certain income and they have to decide how to spend that money. So they make choices. That's what we elect them to do. And when we don't like what they're doing, we try and make them make different choices. What was it here about what Marcus Rashford said that had such an impact, do you think, Dean?
I think it's obviously his celebrity status, if you want to, if you want to call it that, or the fact that he's going to have a certain. I think he's pulled it down to a human level. I think he's actually said, "Look, I'm from a single parent family, or I'm from this level," and he's kind of been a bit of a voice for that, if that makes sense. He's brought it down to a one-on-one kind of level rather than, I'm not saying other celebrities have not tried this, but sometimes you get celebrities that are that have come from well-off families that are trying to help and fantastic for them. But I think this is from a voice that is actually from that kind of area, if that makes sense. And to be honest, just kind of going back to, you're saying that it's coming from the 1940s and 50s. Yeah, it's true. We've always had children that have been starving or, that have not been fed correctly, and families that are on the breadline. But sometimes, and I hope that some of your listeners agree with this, is it's about getting up and doing it yourself and recognising that you might need help. And it's also part onus on everybody as a general public in the country. For example, our charity, we have a community centre, but we also have a community allotment where we grow all of the food and we distribute that out into the local area. We don't ask, we give it away for free, but we also ask for donations. We don't charge for that, but if people want to donate, which then allows us to get more seeds, to grow more food, to give to the community, that's kind of, it's about us as a kind of country doing that together.
I don't know why it's taken you so long to make your first time call, Dean, because you've been absolutely brilliant, so brilliant that I don't know if you've got a donation page for your charity, because I'm sure there might be people listening who might like to donate. Have you?
It's actually quite funny you mentioned that. We've actually just launched it because we've been really struggling through this whole COVID situation, because we raise our money through hiring of facilities, but obviously we've had to close because of the COVID-19 situation. But if you could, that'd be brilliant. Our website is www.vcyc.org.uk, and it stands for Victoria Community and Youth Centre. And like I say, we're kind of like an enclosed system. We grow food on the allotments. It's then provided to the community centre, and it's also provided to the local community. We do youth services, and then through the summer we try and do breakfast clubs where we provide food to kids as well. But it's about everybody. It's not about just. It's not about everybody just saying, it's 120 million. It's not about that. It's, if you think there's a travesty going on with a child who's not being fed, do something about it. Get into your local community. Do something. Don't sit there and think, oh, that's a load of rubbish, or why the welfare state and stuff like that. Do something.
I'm just looking at your website. I can't see a donation, but yes, I can. I found it. Right. Everyone, go to vcyc.org.uk and donate to Dean's fantastic initiative. Dean, it's been an absolute pleasure and an honour to speak to you. Thank you very much indeed. Keep your calls coming. 0345 6060 9.